The next morning, Ravi woke before sunrise. The station was quiet. Soft hums from the machines filled the air, and the sky outside was slowly brightening with distant starlight. He had hardly slept thinking about Mira. The Queen of Luminara had been resting after the long night, and he was curious about her world. He wanted to understand who she was, why she traveled so far, why destiny had brought her to his small moon station. Ravi checked the monitors and found Mira sitting up in the medic bed. Her glow was faint, but stronger than yesterday. She was observing the room carefully, her eyes resting on each piece of equipment. It was as if she was learning quietly, remembering what she had seen before. "Good morning," Ravi said gently, not wanting to startle her. Mira looked at him and smiled faintly. "Good morning, Ravi. You stayed awake for me last night. I had to make sure you were all right," he said. "You were very weak. I didn't want anything to happen to you." Her gaze softened. "In my world, showing concern like that is a rare thing. Most people would have left me to fate." Ravi shook his head. "I couldn't. I don't know why. It felt wrong to ignore someone in danger." Mira studied him silently for a moment, then nodded. "Perhaps that is why your reward is not small. You acted without expectation. That is rare even among humans." Ravi felt his heart beat faster. "Reward? You said something yesterday about a reward." "Yes," Mira replied. "But it is not something simple. It is not a gift you can hold or see immediately. It is something that changes your life, changes your purpose." Ravi frowned slightly. "I don't understand. I am just me, a simple technician. What could possibly change for someone like me?" Mira's smile widened gently. "Sometimes it is not who you are that matters, Ravi. It is what you are willing to do. And your willingness has opened a door that many cannot even see." Before Ravi could ask more questions, a soft chime sounded from the station console. It was a message from the main hub asking about yesterday's repair reports. Ravi replied quickly, but Mira leaned closer to watch the screen. Her fingers hovered over the console, and he realized that she was curious about human technology. "Your machines are simple," she said softly, "yet they are precise, efficient. They do not waste energy, and they respond quickly. That is different from the tools we use in my world." Ravi felt proud. "Thank you. We try to keep everything practical. Nothing too fancy, nothing unnecessary." Mira nodded, her gaze thoughtful. "Practicality is important, but sometimes it is not enough. Your world may be small, but it has potential. And potential is why I chose to travel through these systems." Ravi leaned back. "Travel, you mean? Across the stars?" "Yes," Myra said calmly. "I am on a mission to visit distant realms, to learn about other worlds, and to build connections. Some humans are curious. Some are willing to help. Few are ready to understand the responsibility of such knowledge." Ravi's mind raced. He never imagined that a simple human like him could be part of something so vast. "And now, I am part of it?" he asked hesitantly. Mira tilted her head. "Perhaps. That depends on what you are willing to do next. Saving me was your choice. Understanding what comes after is another." The room fell silent. Ravi felt a strange mix of excitement and fear. He had always wanted a peaceful life. Yet here he was, talking to a queen from a distant star kingdom. Knowing that his choices could shape the future in ways he could not predict. Suddenly Mira's expression changed. She looked serious, almost distant. "I must tell you something important, Ravi. Not all who see my realm understand it, and many fear it without reason." Ravi leaned forward. "What is it?" Mira took a slow breath. "In my world, we are connected by energy. Not just physical energy, but the energy of life, of thought, of purpose. A bond is formed whenever life is saved. That bond carries responsibility. It is invisible, but powerful. It can protect or challenge depending on how it is honored." Avi nodded slowly. "So when you say I owe you, I mean when you say I have a bond with you, it is more than words?" "Yes," Mira said. "It is not a promise you can see, but it is real. You will feel it when the time comes. You may not understand immediately, but it will guide you. It will test your courage, your kindness, and your wisdom. Ravi felt a chill. Not fear exactly, but a deep awareness that his life would never be the same. He had saved her because he felt it was right. Now he realized that one small act had created a connection larger than he could imagine. He tried to speak, but Mira interrupted softly. Do not worry, Ravi. I do not demand anything now. The bond exists. You only need to live your life. When the time comes, you will know what to do. Ravi exhaled slowly, trying to calm his racing thoughts. I think I will need time to understand it. Mira's smile returned. That is wise. You will have time. But for now, you need rest, and I need to regain my strength. Then, we can talk about the next steps. For the next few hours, Ravi worked quietly around the station. He checked machines, prepared meals, and ensured that Mira had everything she needed. She watched him, not out of curiosity, but as if she were learning about human patience and care. Ravi found it comforting. He realized that, despite her power and status, Mira relied on kindness, quiet attention, and trust, just like anyone else. As the day passed, Mira regained her strength. She moved with grace and elegance, walking carefully around the room, studying each panel and tool. Ravi noticed that she had an almost childlike curiosity about everything, yet at the same time, she carried a wisdom far beyond his understanding. By evening, she was ready to speak again. Ravi, I must show you something, she said. Something that will explain why your action matters. Come with me. Ravi followed her to a secure room in the station. Myra moved to the wall, pressed a small panel, and a holographic display appeared. The light filled the room, showing a map of stars, moons, and planets. Ravi stared in awe. This, Mira said, is a small part of my realm. The Luminara realm is vast. Millions of stars, hundreds of inhabited worlds. Some are peaceful, some are in need of guidance. I travel between them to learn and help when I can. And now, because of your action, you are connected to that network. Ravi felt overwhelmed. He had studied maps of stars before, but this was beyond any chart he had ever seen. He felt tiny, yet a small part of something much larger. Mira continued, I do not bring humans into this lightly. Many are afraid. Many are unprepared, but you. You acted with courage without fear. You acted with kindness, without expectation. That is why your reward is unique. Ravi swallowed. So, this bond, will it take me to your realm? Mira smiled softly. Perhaps one day. Perhaps not immediately. But it will guide your actions, open doors, and protect you in ways you cannot yet imagine. And it will test you. Your life will be richer, but more challenging. Ravi's mind raced. Challenging how? You will meet situations where choices matter more than knowledge, Mira said. Where your kindness and courage will create outcomes far beyond what you expect. Where even a small decision can affect lives across stars. That is the true meaning of the bond. Ravi looked at the glowing figure before him and realized something important. His simple life, his quiet work, his peaceful days, they were about to change. Forever. For the first time, he felt a spark of excitement. Not fear, but anticipation. He had always wondered if life held something extraordinary. Perhaps this was it. Mira observed him closely, reading his expressions, as if she could see his thoughts. Do not be afraid, Ravi. You will learn slowly. Step by step. I will guide you when needed. But your choices will shape your path, not mine. Ravi nodded. He felt a sense of responsibility he had never known before. He had saved a queen, and now he was bound to her in ways he did not fully understand. But he also felt hope. Perhaps this bond would give his life meaning beyond machines, reports. In quiet days, as the stars outside began to shine brightly in the dark sky, Ravi sat beside Mira. They spoke quietly about the moon, the station, and the distant worlds she had visited. Mira shared stories of her people, their culture, and the beauty of the Luminara realm. Ravi listened with rapt attention. Realizing that every story carried wisdom, every word carried purpose, he began to understand a small truth. Even the smallest act of kindness could create waves far beyond imagination. Saving Myra had done that, and now he would live with the consequences. Guided by a bond invisible but powerful as the night deepened, Ravi felt a calm determination. He did not know what challenges lay ahead, but he knew one thing clearly. He would honor this bond, and he would face whatever came with courage, kindness, and curiosity. Myra looked at him one last time before resting again. Sleep well, Ravi. Tomorrow, your journey begins. You may not know it yet, but the first step is already before you. Ravi watched the soft glow of her energy fade into quiet rest. He felt his pulse calm, his thoughts clear, and a strange warmth in his chest. A quiet understanding had settled in him. Life would never be ordinary again. But for the first time, he welcomed it. Outside, the stars shimmered, silent witnesses to a bond that would shape not only Ravi's life, but also the distant worlds he had yet to see. And in that quiet moment, he understood that greatness often begins in small acts, and that even one human could make a difference among the stars. The morning light of the moon spilled softly into the station, and Ravi awoke feeling a strange mix of anticipation and curiosity. Mira was already awake, standing near the large observation window. The glow of her form seemed brighter than usual, and she gazed thoughtfully at the stars beyond. Ravi noticed the calm yet commanding presence she carried, a presence that made even the vast emptiness of space feel alive and connected. "Good morning," Ravi said softly. Stepping into the room, Mira turned her head and smiled gently. "Good morning, Ravi. Today's important. You will take the first step in understanding the bond." Ravi felt his stomach tighten. He had been expecting guidance, but the word step made it sound like something official, almost like a lesson he had to pass. "First step?" he asked cautiously. "Yes," Mira said. "The bond you share with me is not a chain or a command. It is a connection that will guide you. But a bond becomes meaningful only when it is tested. Today, you will face your first test." Ravi blinked. "Test? What kind of test?" Mira walked over to the console and pressed a few buttons. A holographic screen appeared, showing a small map of a distant sector in space. Tiny markers moved along invisible paths, and a bright point flashed in one corner. "There is a planet in this sector," she explained. "It is uninhabited by intelligent life, but its atmosphere is unstable. A small craft has sent a distress signal, and it is our duty to respond." Ravi's pulse quickened. "Another rescue? I have never left this moon alone before. How will I manage?" Myra turned to him, her glowing eyes calm and reassuring. "You have the knowledge, the tools, and your instincts. You saved me when others would have hesitated. That courage will guide you again. Trust yourself." Ravi nodded slowly, feeling the weight of her confidence in him. He checked the shuttle, confirmed the fuel and energy cells, and prepared for departure. Mira followed him, her presence calming yet powerful, almost as if the station itself recognized her authority, as they left the station and flew toward the distant sector. Mira explained more about the bond. "The bond is not only about protection," she said. "It is about awareness. You will sense situations that require your attention. You may not understand immediately, but your instincts will guide you. This is the first lesson. Trust your connection." Ravi listened carefully, absorbing every word. He thought of the previous night, the quiet glow of Mira as she recovered. The bond felt like an invisible thread connecting their lives, subtle but undeniable. He wondered if he would notice it during the test. The shuttle approached the planet. From above, it looked like a pale blue orb, covered in swirling clouds. The distress signal was faint but steady, coming from a small research probe on the surface. The planet's gravity was slightly stronger than the moon, and the atmosphere created a soft haze that made the landing tricky. Ravi adjusted the shuttle's controls carefully. Myra's presence was quiet beside him, yet he felt her energy like a soft pulse, almost as if it whispered encouragement. "You are ready," she said. He landed the shuttle gently, the wheels pressing into the soft, uneven soil. The probe was visible in the distance, a small metallic structure surrounded by dust. Ravi noticed that the signal had a pattern, some kind of life form or process nearby was interfering. He stepped out of the shuttle, wearing his standard protective suit. The air was breathable but contained faint currents that could affect movement. Mira floated lightly behind him, observing silently. Ravi approached the probe and saw the small hatch had partially collapsed under the weight of debris. The energy readings from the probe were low, indicating it was losing power. Ravi examined the situation and realized that moving the debris would require precision. He could not simply lift it, because the probe's structure was delicate. A wrong move could damage it permanently. He took a deep breath, remembering Mira's words, "Trust your instincts. Trust the bond." As he worked, he sensed something subtle, a faint awareness, like a nudge in his mind. He realized it was Mira, not through words, but through the bond. It guided him, suggesting the right angle, the correct force. Ravi followed it, carefully lifting the debris just enough to reach the probe's control panel. Inside the probe, he found a small core unit flickering, almost out of energy. He connected his portable stabilizer, and the unit hummed steadily. The lights on the probe glowed, indicating that it was operational again. Ravi stepped back, wiping sweat from his brow. He felt a rush of relief and satisfaction. Myra's presence was close, almost glowing with approval. "Well done," she said. "You felt the bond, and you followed it." "That is the first step," Ravi exhaled, realizing that her guidance had been there the whole time, subtle but undeniable. He had relied not only on his knowledge, but also on the connection they shared. The thought made him feel stronger, more confident, oddly peaceful. Before he could relax fully, the ground shook slightly beneath them. A gentle tremor ran through the soil, followed by faint lights appearing from the clouds above. Ravi looked up and saw a soft, swirling pattern forming in the sky, a natural energy storm unique to this planet. It was not dangerous yet, but it could become unstable. Mira's eyes glowed softly. "This is your next challenge. The probe must be secured before the storm becomes too strong. You cannot wait for guidance. You must act using your instincts and the bond." Ravi's hands moved quickly. He double-checked the stabilizer, reinforced the probe's structure, and ensured all systems were functioning. The bond guided him, a quiet pulse of confidence and clarity. He realized that it was not just a feeling, it was awareness. He could sense Mira's thoughts, her concern, and her calm energy. Together, they worked as one, almost silently, responding to the subtle signals of the planet. The storm began to intensify, clouds swirling faster, faint sparks of energy lighting the sky. Ravi felt the shuttle tremble slightly, and dust whipped around the probe. He knew he had to finish quickly. He activated the last stabilizer module, and the probe hummed steadily. Resisting the storm's interference, Myra floated beside him, her glow brightening as the system stabilized. "You did it," she said calmly. "Not because I guided you, but because you trusted the connection and acted." Ravi exhaled, feeling exhaustion and pride together. He realized that the bond was not a tool, it was a partnership. A partnership that required trust, courage, and understanding. The storm passed gradually, leaving a quiet calm in the atmosphere. Ravi looked at the repaired probe, at the soft glow of the horizon, and at Mira. "I understand a little more now," he said softly. "The bond. It is more than a connection. It is guidance, and it asks for responsibility." Mira nodded. "Yes, Ravi. Responsibility is key. You are connected to me and through me, to many others. The bond does not force, but it guides. When you act with understanding, it strengthens. When you hesitate, it teaches patience." Ravi realized the depth of her words. Every small decision mattered, not just for him, but for the worlds around them. He thought of the Queen's life he had saved, the bond that had formed, and now this first test. Each step was teaching him, preparing him for challenges he had never imagined. After securing the probe, they returned to the shuttle. Myra's glow was gentle, almost like moonlight. Ravi felt a sense of accomplishment, yet he also felt a quiet anticipation. The bond had shown him that his life was no longer simple. He had responsibilities that reached far beyond the small station on the moon. During the flight back, Myra spoke softly. "You will face more challenges, Ravi. Some will be simple, some complex. The bond will always guide you, but the choice will be yours." That is the essence of responsibility. Ravi listened, absorbing every word. I will do my best," he said. "I want to understand, and I want to honor the bond." Myra's eyes glowed warmly. "That is all that matters for now. The journey has just begun. Remember this feeling, the first test, and the sense of clarity it gave you. It will guide you when times are harder." As they landed back on the moon, Ravi felt a shift within himself. The first test had shown him that courage, trust, and patience could create results far beyond knowledge or skill. He had acted, and through that action, he had strengthened the bond. That night, Ravi sat by the observation window, looking at the stars that Mira had described. He felt connected not only to her, but to the vastness beyond. He realized that life was no longer about routine or small concerns. It was about choice, responsibility, and the quiet courage to act when it mattered most. Mira rested beside him, her soft glow illuminating the room. "Sleep well, Ravi," she said. "Tomorrow will bring another lesson, another test. The bond is growing, and so must you." Ravi smiled faintly, feeling peace for the first time since meeting her. He knew that challenges awaited, but he also knew he was not alone. The bond would guide him, teach him, and connect him to a universe larger than he had ever imagined. Outside, the stars shimmered, silent witnesses to the first step of a human who had saved a queen. A human who now faced a life of responsibility, courage, and discovery. And in the quiet of the night, Ravi understood a simple truth. Greatness begins not with power, but with kindness, and with the courage to act when it is needed most. The morning sun had not yet touched the horizon when Ravi awoke. His thoughts were filled with the events of the past days, the rescue of Mira, the first test, and the journey through the energy vortex. He felt stronger, more confident, yet also aware of the responsibilities the bond carried. Mira was already awake, her glow filling the room with a gentle light. "Good morning, Ravi," Mira said softly. "Today you will face the final step. The bond has guided you, and now it is time to see its true purpose." Ravi felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. "Final step," he asked. "What will I have to do?" Mira's eyes shone with calm determination. "It is not about what you must do, but about what you choose. The bond will guide, but the choice is always yours. You will see the reward of your actions, the true connection formed by courage and kindness." Ravi prepared the shuttle, checking every system carefully. Mira followed him, her presence steady and reassuring. The journey ahead was unknown, yet the bond gave him confidence. He knew that whatever lay ahead, they would face it together as they left the moon. Mira explained the purpose of today's mission. "There is a star cluster several light years from here," she said. "It contains a planet where the energy of life is unusually strong. Many beings come there seeking understanding, guidance, or healing. The reward you will see is tied to the energy of this place." Ravi listened intently, curiosity growing with each word. The bond pulsed gently, a subtle encouragement. He realized that this journey was more than exploration. It was a test of understanding, compassion, and awareness. The stars stretched endlessly around them as the shuttle traveled through space. Ravi watched the cluster grow larger on the screens, each star shimmering with its own energy. Myra's glow was steady, and he felt a strange calmness in the bond. It was as if the universe itself was welcoming him to this place. When they arrived, the planet below glowed softly. Its surface was covered in lush forests, wide rivers, and mountains that shimmered faintly under the twin suns. Ravi could feel the energy from space itself, gentle yet powerful. Flowing through the shuttle and into his senses, Mira turned to him. "This is a sacred place. The energy here strengthens bonds, rewards courage, and reveals truth. You must step onto the surface to fully experience it." Ravi felt a thrill of anticipation. He had never left a shuttle for a place so vibrant and alive. As they landed, He noticed the soft hum of life in the air, a harmony that resonated with every cell of his body. Mira guided him to the edge of a wide clearing, where a pool of crystal-clear water reflected the twin suns. "Look into the water," Mira said softly. "What you see will be your reward. It is not wealth, not power, not fame. It is understanding, and it is recognition of your courage and kindness." Ravi stepped closer, peering into the water. At first he saw only his reflection, tired but determined. Then the image shifted. He saw himself in moments he had not noticed before helping others. Small acts of kindness, decisions made in courage and compassion. Each moment glowed faintly, connected by threads of light. He realized that the bond had recorded not just the big acts, but the small ones too. Every choice he had made, every step of kindness, had created ripples in the energy of the universe. The reward was not an object or a gift, it was recognition, understanding, and the ability to see the impact of his actions across space and time. Ravi felt a wave of emotion he could not describe. He had acted without thought of reward, yet here it was. The bond with Myra, the connection he had formed, allowed him to see the significance of a life lived with courage and compassion. Myra watched him quietly. "Do you understand now, Ravi? The reward is knowledge, understanding, and connection. It is the ability to see how one life can touch many. You have saved, guided, and acted without expectation. That is the true reward." Ravi nodded slowly, tears of wonder forming in his eyes. I never imagined this. I thought saving you was enough, but now I see. Every choice matters. Every act of courage, every act of kindness, it all connects." Mira smiled, her glow brightening. "Yes, Ravi. And this is only the beginning. The bond will continue to guide you, reveal new challenges, and show you ways to help others. But you must remember this lesson. The true reward is not what you gain, but what you give." Ravi took a deep breath, feeling the weight and beauty of her words. He realized that his life had changed forever. He was no longer a simple technician on a quiet moon. He was part of a larger universe, connected through the bond to Mira, to life, and to the energy that flowed through everything as the sun rose higher. The water reflected a path of light leading toward the forests. Mira gestured toward it. "Walk with me, Ravi. Explore, learn, and feel the energy. Let the bond guide you further." They moved together across the clearing, and Ravi felt the energy in the air grow stronger with each step. The bond pulsed gently, a subtle rhythm that encouraged him to observe, think, and act. He noticed small creatures moving in harmony with the environment, plants that seemed to respond to their presence, and streams of light that flowed like rivers in the air. Mira stopped at a large tree whose branches shimmered faintly. "This tree is ancient," she explained. "It has witnessed countless lives, choices, and acts of courage. Place your hand on it and feel the connection." Ravi hesitated, then reached out. The moment his hand touched the bark, a warm energy flowed into him. He felt the lives of those who had passed near the tree, their choices, their courage, their kindness. He felt the interconnectedness of everything, the bond with Myra, the universe, and all life around him. He stepped back, overwhelmed. "It is incredible," he whispered. "I can feel everything. Everyone. It is like the bond reaches beyond just you and me." Mira nodded. "Yes, the bond connects, strengthens, and guides. It is a reflection of courage, kindness, and understanding. You have been chosen not because you are perfect, but because you act with your heart." Ravi looked around the vibrant landscape. He realized that this was the true reward, the ability to see life not as isolated events, but as a web of connections where every action mattered. He felt gratitude, humility, and a quiet determination. As the day passed, Mira led him through the forests, showing him streams of energy, hidden glades, and creatures that seemed to exist in harmony with the planet. Each experience reinforced the lessons of the bond: awareness, empathy, and responsibility. Ravi felt himself growing, not just in skill but in understanding, courage, purpose. By evening, they returned to the clearing. The twin suns had lowered, casting golden light across the water. Mira floated beside him, her glow gentle and comforting. "Do you understand now, Ravi?" she asked. "The reward I spoke of is not material. It is recognition of your actions, understanding of the bond, and connection to life itself. This is the greatest gift you can receive." Ravi nodded, a sense of peace washing over him. "I understand. I never expected this. I thought I was helping someone. But the bond, the connection, it shows me so much more, I feel. Stronger, wiser, and more responsible." Ira smiled warmly. "And that is why you were chosen. Courage, kindness, and awareness are rare. You have demonstrated all three. Remember this feeling, Ravi, for the bond will continue to guide you. Your journey has only just begun." They returned to the shuttle as night fell. The stars above shone brilliantly. A silent witness to the growth of a human who had saved a queen and learned the true meaning of connection, courage, and responsibility. Ravi felt a quiet joy in his heart. He knew that life would never be ordinary again. As they approached the moon station, Mira spoke one last time. "Rest, Ravi. Reflect on what you have seen. The bond will continue to guide you, and you will face many new challenges. But you are ready? You have earned the reward, and the universe now knows your courage and kindness." Ravi smiled faintly, feeling the energy of the bond gently pulse around him. He knew that his life had changed forever. Not because of power or fame, but because of courage, compassion, and the willingness to act when it mattered most. Landing at the station, Ravi stepped out of the shuttle and looked at Mira. Her glow was soft, serene, yet full of strength. He felt gratitude, awe, and a quiet pride. He had learned the true meaning of the reward, the bond, and the universe's gentle guidance. That night, as he rested in his simple quarters, Ravi reflected on the journey. He had saved a queen, faced challenges guided by the bond, and discovered a reward beyond imagination. He knew that the adventure was not over. Greater challenges, new responsibilities, and deeper understanding awaited. But he also knew one simple truth: courage, kindness, and awareness could change lives, not just his own, but the lives of many across the stars. And in that quiet moment, Ravi smiled, feeling the bond pulse softly, a reminder of everything he had achieved and everything yet to come. He was no longer a simple technician on a quiet moon. He was part of a universe alive with connection, purpose, and endless possibility. The next morning, Ravi awoke to the gentle hum of the station. The air was quiet, filled only with the soft sound of the life support systems. Mira was already awake, floating near the observation window, her glow steady and bright. Ravi felt a quiet warmth in the room. After the first test, he realized the bond between him and Mira was not something abstract, it was real, subtle, and alive. "Good morning, Ravi," Mira said, her voice calm and welcoming. "Today, the bond will guide you further. You are ready for the next step." Ravi rose slowly, adjusting his uniform. "I feel ready, but what is the next step?" Mira's eyes glowed softly. "You will travel beyond this moon. There is a sector not far from here where a natural anomaly has been detected. Many ships have avoided it, fearing its energy fluctuations. Your task is to observe, learn, and respond if necessary. The bond will help you, but you must trust your instincts." Ravi felt a rush of excitement. He had traveled to the nearby sector before, but this felt different. This was not routine maintenance or minor repairs. This was exploration, guided by a queen and a bond he was only beginning to understand. He prepared the shuttle carefully. Mira assisted, her presence calm yet powerful. Every step he took felt purposeful, and he noticed that even the smallest actions, like checking fuel levels or calibrating the controls, carried a sense of importance he had never felt before. When the shuttle lifted off, the moon's surface fell away beneath them, and the vast emptiness of space opened up. Ravi steered toward the sector Mira had shown him. The stars were bright, scattered like diamonds, and the dark space between them felt both infinite and intimate. As they approached the anomaly, Ravi saw it clearly for the first time. A swirling energy field stretched across space like a ribbon of light twisting slowly. It was mesmerizing, beautiful, and slightly intimidating. Small particles floated around it, caught in the currents of energy. The readings on the shuttle's instruments showed fluctuating power levels. Mira's voice broke the quiet. This is an energy vortex, rare and powerful. It can distort time and space slightly, making navigation difficult. Yet it is not dangerous if approached carefully. Your bond with me will guide your actions. Ravi nodded, feeling a subtle pulse from the bond. It was like a whisper in his mind, a soft guidance that suggested direction and timing. He adjusted the shuttle's course slowly, letting the bond influence his decisions. Every adjustment felt precise, almost instinctive, as if he could feel the flow of energy around him. The vortex stretched wider as they drew closer. Ravi could see faint shapes moving within it, particles of energy caught in the swirl. The instruments indicated minor fluctuations in gravity and time, enough to make the shuttle drift if not carefully controlled. Mira floated beside him. You are doing well. Trust yourself. Trust the bond. Ravi took a deep breath and focused. He could feel the subtle nudges from the bond guiding the shuttle's movements. It was not forceful, only gentle suggestions that allowed him to act with confidence. Slowly, carefully, he guided the shuttle through the outer edge of the vortex. The instrument stabilized, and the path became clearer. Suddenly a faint signal appeared on the scanner. It was weak but distinct, coming from inside the vortex. Mira's eyes brightened. A life form. Not human, not Luminara. It is trapped by the vortex's energy. Ravi's pulse quickened. He had not expected to encounter another being so soon. He felt the bond strengthen. A subtle wave of guidance that urged him to act quickly yet carefully. He adjusted the shuttle and moved toward the signal. The vortex currents tugged at the shuttle gently but persistently. Ravi relied on the bond to find the safest path. Each movement felt connected to Mira, as if her energy was intertwined with his thoughts. When they reached the source of the signal, Ravi saw a small craft caught in the vortex. It was spinning slowly, unable to stabilize. The life form inside was weak, its energy almost depleted. Ravi realized this was another rescue, but more complex than the first. Mira spoke softly. You must act with care. The bond will guide you, but your decisions matter. Ravi focused on the craft, slowly extending the shuttle's stabilizer beam. The bond pulsed in his mind, a gentle rhythm that suggested timing and alignment. He adjusted the beam according to the guidance, and the small craft slowly stopped spinning. Its energy readings stabilized, and the life form inside became more responsive. Ravi carefully opened the shuttle's side hatch and pulled the life form aboard. It was unlike anything he had seen, tall, thin, with semi-transparent skin that shimmered faintly in the shuttle's light. Its eyes were large and reflective, and it regarded him with curiosity and relief. Mira hovered nearby, her glow reassuring. You have succeeded, Ravi. The bond guided you, but your courage and precision made the difference. Ravi felt a mix of relief and awe. He had saved another life, guided by a bond he was only beginning to understand. Yet this time, he realized the bond was not just a connection to Mira. It connected him to the larger universe, to the lives he could touch, to the energy around him. The life form slowly recovered, its energy stabilizing under the shuttle's systems. It made a soft sound, almost like a greeting, and Ravi responded instinctively. Mira nodded approvingly. Compassion is part of the bond. Understanding and care make the connection stronger. Ravi realized she was right. The bond was not just about guidance or protection. It was about awareness, empathy, and action. Each choice mattered, and each act of kindness strengthened the connection as they left the vortex. The stars returned to their usual clarity. Ravi felt a quiet pride. He had faced a complex challenge, relied on the bond, and acted decisively. Mira's presence beside him was calm, yet he sensed her satisfaction. You have learned well, Mira said softly. The bond is growing. Your awareness, your courage, and your empathy have strengthened it. But there is more to learn, and greater challenges await. Ravi nodded, feeling a sense of determination. He had begun to understand that the bond was not a tool, but a partnership. It guided him, taught him, and revealed truths about himself he had never known. During the return flight, Mira shared more about her realm. She spoke of planets with gentle skies, of civilizations that valued knowledge and compassion, and of energy networks that connected life across stars. Ravi listened in awe, realizing that the universe was far richer and more complex than he had ever imagined. Mira's words were not just stories, they were lessons. Each description carried a principle: balance, understanding, patience, and responsibility. Ravi felt that the bond was teaching him these principles quietly, preparing him for the challenges that lay ahead. When they returned to the moon station, Ravi carefully landed the shuttle. Mira floated beside him, her glow steady and warm. "Rest now, Ravi," she said. "Tomorrow will bring new challenges." The bond grows strongest when nurtured through action, reflection, and understanding. Ravi felt a quiet satisfaction. The first real test had taught him courage. The second had taught him awareness, patience, and empathy. He understood that the bond was more than a connection knit. It was a path that would guide him through experiences beyond anything he had imagined. That night, Ravi sat near the observation window, looking at the stars. Mira rested beside him, her soft glow illuminating the room. He reflected on the events of the day, the vortex, the trapped life form, and the guidance of the bond. Each step had taught him something new. Each act had strengthened his connection to Mira and the universe. He realized that life would never be the same. He had begun a journey that would take him far beyond his quiet moon station, guided by a bond that was invisible yet powerful, subtle yet undeniable as he closed his eyes. Ravi understood a simple truth. Greatness is not measured by power or fame. It is measured by courage, empathy, and the willingness to act when it matters most. And he knew without doubt that the bond with Mira would continue to guide him, shaping not only his destiny, but also the lives of those he encountered in the vast universe. Outside, the stars shone silently, witnesses to the growth of a human who had begun to understand responsibility, courage, and connection. And in the quiet of the moon, Ravi felt ready for the adventures that awaited him, guided by the bond that would never fade. Ravi lived a quiet life on a small research station built near the surface of a lonely moon. He was not famous, not powerful, and not a person others talked about. He was simply a technician who liked peace. Most days he woke early, drank a warm cup of tea, checked the long list of machines around the station, and sent simple reports to the main hub. His work was not exciting, but he liked the calm rhythm of it. In his childhood, he always wished for a life where nothing troubled him. That wish came true, at least for a while. The research station was not very large. It had narrow halls, humming lights, and a soft mechanical sound that never stopped. Ravi knew every corner. He knew where the air was a little cooler, where the panels needed more cleaning, where the old generator made a small echo when he walked near it. The station felt like a friend, always predictable, always steady. One long afternoon, Ravi finished checking the outer solar panels. The sky beyond the transparent shield looked dark and endless. The moon had no atmosphere, so he could see stars clearly. Sometimes he would stand there for minutes, looking at them with quiet wonder. He liked thinking that somewhere out there, many worlds existed. But he never expected those worlds to touch his simple life. As he went inside to end his shift, an alert sounded on the main console. It was not loud, but it was sharp enough to catch his attention. A small red light blinked, and a message appeared. It was a distress signal, weak and fading. The signal kept breaking, which meant the sender was in trouble and running out of power. Ravi leaned closer. Most distress calls he had received before came from small mining ships or cargo pods that lost direction. Those were normal, but this signal was different. The voice was soft, almost musical, and carried a tone he had never heard from any human or common alien visitor. Without waiting any longer, he opened the mapping system. A small blue point blinked on the dark side of the moon. The place looked empty, far from any travel line. It worried him. Someone was stranded there. Ravi took a slow breath. He did not like taking risks, but he also could not ignore someone asking for help. He grabbed his small emergency kit, entered his compact shuttle, and started the engine. The shuttle rose with a gentle hum and moved out into open space. The surface of the moon spread below him like a rough canvas. As he neared the location, dust clouds appeared. His shuttle lights moved over broken rocks. Then he saw it. A silver craft lay tilted, half buried in the ground. Its outer shield was damaged, and faint smoke rose from the side. The ship looked delicate, shaped almost like a crescent. It was nothing like the usual ships he saw. Ravi landed near it. His boots touched the surface with a soft crunch. He carefully walked toward the craft. The entrance door was open, almost as if the person inside had tried to get out but failed. The interior glowed dimly with a soft blue light. Inside the cockpit, near the control seat, he saw her. A woman lay still, breathing faintly. She was clearly not human. Her skin had a soft shimmer, like morning light on water. Her hair gave off a faint glow, enough to brighten the space around her. She looked calm even in her weakened state, as if she belonged to a world filled with light. Ravi knelt beside her. He had seen aliens during training, but none like her. She looked fragile and strong at the same time. When he touched her wrist gently to check her pulse, she opened her eyes for a brief moment. Her eyes carried a soft radiance, like tiny stars held within them. She tried to speak, but the words formed only as a whisper. Her voice shook. Ravi felt a wave of concern. She needed help, and she needed it fast. He lifted her carefully. She was light, almost weightless, as if her body held more energy than mass. He carried her out of the damaged ship and placed her inside his shuttle. He secured the seat, checked her breathing again, and flew back toward the station. Once inside the medic room, Ravi placed her on the diagnostic bed. The scanner started with a soft tone. The results appeared on the screen, showing that her energy levels were dangerously low. It was something similar to exhaustion, but far deeper. The chart reminded him of something he had read in an old training file. About light-based species who suffered from sudden energy drain when their core source was damaged. Ravi knew one thing clearly. She did not have much time without medical support. He quickly connected an energy stabilizer to the bed. The machine gave a soft hum as it began to supply gentle pulses of energy into her system. Her breathing steadied bit by bit. Ravi stayed beside her, adjusting the controls carefully. Hours passed, and he did not leave her side except to bring warm water to keep himself awake. The woman's glow slowly returned. Her hair shimmered again, and her expression softened. She no longer looked as if she was slipping away. Finally, after what felt like a long night, her eyes opened fully. She looked around the room, then at him. Her gaze was calm, but it carried something ancient, something wise, something that felt larger than anything Ravi had ever known. He smiled softly, relieved. "You are safe now. You were in trouble, so I brought you here." She blinked slowly and studied him. Then she spoke, her voice steady but gentle. "You saved my life." Ravi shrugged lightly. Anyone would have done the same. She seemed to consider his words, then shook her head with quiet certainty. "Many fear what they do not understand. Yet you moved toward a stranger." Ravi did not know what to say, so he simply nodded. She sat up slowly, looking around at the machines and screens. Her posture was elegant, almost regal. After a moment, she said something that startled him. "You do not know my name." Ravi shook his head. "I only heard your distress call. It was broken. I could not understand much." She placed one hand gently on her chest. "My name is Mira. I am the queen of the Luminara realm." Ravi almost lost balance. A queen, a ruler of an entire star realm. Sitting here, on a medic bed, in his small, ordinary station. He blinked again to make sure he heard correctly. Mira continued speaking with calm clarity. "I was on a journey when my craft was struck by a rare energy wave. It drained the core of my ship and weakened my own energy. I tried to send a signal, but I did not expect anyone to find me in time. You did." Ravi did not feel like a hero. He only did what felt right. Still, her words carried weight, and her gaze added even more to it. She looked at him for a long moment. In my realm, a life saved forms a lasting bond of gratitude. It cannot be ignored or treated lightly. It must be honored fully. Ravi shifted uneasily. He did not understand what kind of bond she meant. He wondered if it was a custom he would not be able to follow. He worried he might disappoint her or unknowingly break a tradition. Before he could ask anything, Mira continued, "I owe you more than thanks. You gave me life when mine was fading. In my world, the reward for such an act is never small." The room felt quiet. The hum of machines seemed softer. Ravi could feel his heartbeat slowing and then rising again. He did not know why he felt nervous. He only knew that something important had just settled between them. Mira reached out her hand, not to touch him but to show a gesture of deep respect from her culture. Her voice lowered slightly, becoming more formal. "Your reward will change your life in ways you do not expect." Ravi felt his hands tremble just a little. He had wanted a peaceful, predictable life. But in this moment, he knew that his life would not remain simple anymore. A queen from a distant realm now stood in front of him, speaking of bonds and rewards and life-changing paths. He swallowed gently and met her gaze. What kind of reward? Myra gave a small, calm smile, one that only the Queen of Luminara can offer. Ravi felt the world shift quietly around him. Whatever was coming next, it was far beyond anything he had ever imagined.